Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee. I'm Hope, but I don't have coffee at the moment. I actually have a big thing of water because I just drank coffee not long ago. It is getting a little bit later in the evening. I plan on making some tea soon and actually ran out of decaf, so was going to have a nice little cup to join you all with. However, hopefully you will be okay with me having some water with you all this afternoon. But today's episode is actually kind of an interesting episode. I was kind of going through a lot of different topics that I had compiled over the past few weeks that I hadn't gotten to record. And this one was actually about prebiotics and probiotics, what they are, and what they can do for us. And specifically prebiotics, because I think we don't really talk about those enough. Because we do talk about probiotics, we talk about gut health, and we talk about how sometimes that can help benefit with weight loss and how that can help us with overall health, as well as sometimes how gut health can actually be linked to mental health. But I want to kind of first help you distinguish between the two. So before we dive into it, thank you so much for joining me. If you don't mind, please like, subscribe, and join as we are just getting our page started. We are still trying to grow and get our conversation out there. And also, please leave a comment down below about things you would love to talk about. And I would love to start those conversations with you. But anyway, so coming from the Mayo Clinic's website, I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit about prebiotics and probiotics. So probiotics are probably the ones you've heard about the most, and probiotics are the foods or supplements that contain microorganisms that are intended to maintain or improve good bacteria, the normal microflora that are in our body. However, prebiotics are foods that are typically high in fiber that act as food for our human microflora. So think of the prebiotics as fish food that feeds our microflora. So it doesn't have any sort of microorganisms or anything like that in it. The prebiotics are really just the little fish foods that go into it. So probiotics tend to be found in fermented type foods and things of that nature. So you can find them in yogurts, sauerkrauts, kefir, I believe kombucha. I want to say maybe even apple cider vinegar and things of that nature, anything with the mother. Those sorts of things are the things that have probiotics. However, prebiotics are usually found in foods, and those things are things such as whole grains, bananas, greens, onions, garlics, soybeans, and artichokes. And both of these things together are very, very good for gut health. And you can find them in supplements already together if that's the way you want to go. But I will say getting them in their natural sources, such as in those sorts of foods, yogurts, sauerkrauts, or even onions and garlic, are usually going to be more bioavailable for your body rather than in a pill that has to break down inside your system, where it may more of it's going to pass through rather than stick around and do a good job. Some of it will stick around. However, some of it's also going to pass through without doing a whole bunch for you until you've really taken quite a bit. I will say when I traveled overseas and I was prepping to travel overseas, I was talking to a nurse about ways that I could kind of help myself before I went. And they actually informed me that it would be a really good idea to take some pre and probiotics ahead of time for probably several weeks in order to prepare my stomach for the foods that I am encounter when I got there. And so some people may be familiar with traveling to perhaps the Middle East or perhaps Mexico or places of that nature where food is different, it's prepared differently, it's even treated a little differently, the soil is different. And there are different sorts of indigestional things that can happen. So I had prepared myself pretty well, and when I traveled to these areas, I also prepared a lot of my food myself in order to also feel confident in knowing that I was kind of trying to prevent most of those issues. And I did pretty well compared to a lot of the people who kind of either traveled with me or were over there at the same time. So I felt really good about that. However, I do know a lot of people who didn't prepare as well, who prepared in different ways, and still had a lot of issues because they didn't really, not only, I don't know if how much the pre and probiotic preparation helped, but I know I personally had no issues once I was there and was able to kind of get that going, and I enjoyed myself quite thoroughly. I didn't have any sorts of issues. But again, like, if you're going to take a supplement, that's something you need to talk to your doctor about. But as far as the foods, those are like widely available, easy to add into a diet or a health plan. Of course, again, always in moderation. I guess if you're a vampire, maybe avoid garlic. I don't know, but I love garlic. I've heard that garlic is a really great food, has some incredible benefits for it. But it does say, according to the Mayo Clinic, that some side effects are rare and most healthy adults can safely add foods that contain pre and probiotics to their diet. Future research may lead to advanced probiotics with greater potential to improve health. But if you're considering taking supplements, please check with your doctor to be sure they're right for you. So, again, I am not a doctor. This is coming from the Mayo Clinic's website as strictly just recommendations. This is not me making any sort of medical diagnosis of any kind. But there have been studies that will link mental health to gut health. When you eat well, your body is more balanced, and again, your mind is more clear, and you are able to work a little bit better overall. And these are just some things that we've kind of started to learn over the past few years as we've really started looking kind of how everything is linked. And so it's really important that we think about those things. I'm not saying that, eating chips is going to completely throw you off, but perhaps chips every day may not be the best option. I love salty crunch. That's probably one of my weaknesses. I have to avoid them, and I have to avoid buying them and keep them out of my apartment because I will demolish a bag very quickly. But not great for gut health, and not really great for mental health either because there's so much filler in chips as well. So anyway, just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of information about that. We hadn't really talked about that too much, I don't think, and it was a topic that I had that I had never kind of fully seen through to the end. So hopefully y'all have been slightly entertained, educated, a little bit informed, and I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one.